Well, this video is actually being filmed a second time. It's going up a lot later than I had originally anticipated, but this is going to be my makeup use up 2016 finale video, and essentially if you haven't seen the original video before, I'll go ahead and link the intro down in the description box, but I had a large number of products. I think I had over 40 items that I wanted to attempt to use up before the end of 2016. The first item on the list, I had the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. This one was in the shade Blush. This one was finished up. I think I had this in one of my projects, and you can see right up here, this line that's kind of smudged off almost is where I was at the beginning of 2016. And I finished off this entire item. This did have 1.7 fluid ounces in it, so I had about half of the product left at the beginning of last year, so I'm actually pretty excited that I was able to use this one up. I actually ended up really loving this, and it did oxidize just a smidgen, but it was one of my favorite face products. It didn't really settle into the fine lines, which was definitely a plus for me. So anyway, there was the first one. Then I had the First Aid Beauty Eye Duty Triple Remedy. This is, it's hard to describe. So some people consider this to be just like a skincare item. I consider this both. I think it's a little bit skincare, but more so on the corrector side. So it's a depuffing eye product. And it does have like a pinky salmony tone to it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see in there. It's kind of like a pinky shade. So I don't know. I really enjoyed the cooling tip that was on this product, but I just don't think that I'm going to repurchase this just because it did kind of break down halfway throughout the day. If I try to put a concealer over the top, that seemed to work a little bit better, but just layering up so many products underneath the eye area, it did settle into the fine lines with other products, and it's too much of a hassle in my opinion for the price tag. So if you were curious about this product, I know a lot of people love this, and they did just release a darker shade. If you sign up for Derm Store, you can usually find a 20 or 15 or even 30% off discount from Derm Store online. So I would suggest if you're in the market for this product, go on Derm Store and purchase it. So it is available at Sephora as well, but I would just suggest going to Derm Store because they do have a discount more frequently than Sephora does. Then I had the Lorac Touch Up To Go Concealer and Foundation Pen. This is it right here. I've had this hanging around for quite a while. When I did pick it up, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was discounted. It wasn't the full $42 price tag. I had the shade CF5, which was insanely dark for my skin tone. So I would just use this underneath the eye area as more of a concealer product, and then, a corrector product, and then go over it with a concealer or my foundation, and that seemed to work just fine. I think if you had a correct shade that matched your entire face, this would be a really nice, light, kind of tinted moisturizer product, but it was alright. Next up is an item that was not finished in 2016. This is the NYX Dark Circle Corrector, Concealer Corrector, and I have a love-hate relationship with this product. I have the shade Fair, and I went back and forth between Fair and Medium because I just wasn't quite sure. The fair tone right here, this is more of a pink shade, while the medium tone, which is the next one darker, it's more of like an orangey hint to it. It's still like a pinky salmon shade, but has just a touch more orange. This one does have a much larger dip going on in the product if you went back and compared it to the original video. I feel like this is quite drying underneath my eye area, and sometimes it works and I can buff it out and it works great, and other times it just looks really scaly and patchy under the eye area. I will say that I don't feel like this offers the most correction or coverage underneath my eye area. I have really dark hereditary under eye circles and hardly anything covers them up. You can even still see them with my makeup today. So Next up is a powder. This is a loose powder foundation, and this one is the Bare Minerals Original Powder Foundation. And this one, I'm planning on adding this into my 2017 items that I want to use up for the year. That should be coming up in a couple days or within a week, I would say. But I would say just over halfway finished up with this. I didn't tap it down all the way, but I was a little bit higher in this product. I know that for sure. I did use this a handful of times throughout the year. I was just focused on other powders and other foundations. I feel like with this, I have to put a concealer down and use this. I can't use any other items on my face. This does tend to darken just a little bit, so I prefer to use this in the summertime. And I really like it, honestly. I feel like it's a great powder foundation. I feel like it looks really nice on the skin, especially if you have trouble with any fine lines that you're, starting to experience. I feel like it doesn't settle into the fine lines as much as some of the liquid foundations. So I really like this, and I'm excited to use this up for the year. For next year, I guess I should say. Then I had the Tarte Park Avenue Princess full-size bronzer. Let me grab that super fast. Now, with this item, I was not focused on this throughout the year. I did use it a little bit here and there, but I mostly focused on my NARS Laguna bronzer because that was in one of my last projects of the year. This is all that I have left in here. I feel like that's a ton of progress in a year for not focusing specifically on this bronzer. If I can, I'll include an image of what it looked like at the intro video so you can kind of see how much progress there has been. I feel like I just had a little bit of pan showing up at the top up there, but I feel like it's looking great, and I feel like this is going to be used up sooner rather than later. This is actually in my Finish 7 by Spring, so you're gonna get a little sneak peek of how my progress is looking so far. I'm supposed to be doing an update, my first update for the Finish 7 by Spring for 2017 here in a couple days, but that is what this bronzer is looking like so far. Then I had another Tarte product. This was the Tarte Mini Blush in one of their Amazonian Clay 12-hour blushes in the shade Mirage. I actually received this as a gift from Juicy Fashion 11. I'll link her down in the description box. This was a limited edition shade that came out in a gift set for the holidays, and I had used down the pattern that was on the top of the blush, but I hadn't hit pan or anything. I did have a little bit of progress in the powder previously before including it in the project, but it was such a very light, easy to wear, goes with anything sort of blush that I could kind of build it up on the cheeks and it didn't look insane and clown-like. So this one was pretty easy. It doesn't have near the amount of product that the full-size Tarte blushes do, and this almost had a different texture than the regular Tarte blushes. I feel like the original Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes are very tightly packed in the pan, and it does take quite a while to move through them. But this one had a lot more of a powder kick up to it, and I moved through it relatively quickly. I think this was in my 2016 Finish 7 by Spring project. So anyway, there was that guy. Next up is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Ethereal Glow. That is what the blush looks like there. This is a really pretty blush. It's very light. I prefer to use this in the fall and the winter time and the very first part of spring before I get any sort of color to my skin. You can't really tell, but there is a pretty considerable dip going in this blush right here. I know that when you do purchase them from the store, they do have a little bit of a domed top to the middle of the powder, and I have worn that down, and I do have a slight dip forming in there. I really don't feel like if I was using this on a daily basis that it would take very long to finish off, but as of right now, this is where I'm at in this blush. I had the Tarte Mini Cheek Stain in the shade Flush, and this is going to be another sneak peek of more of my progress is for the Finish 7 by Spring. So this is what this guy looks like here. It's a very small deluxe size sample, and I did mark on this one. The line is sort of faded because I have had this kicking around for over a year now. When I hold this up to the cap there, hopefully you can see where I'm at. I definitely have used up about half of this product. Most of the progress that you're seeing right now, I would say a third of the progress that you're seeing right now is from this being in the seasonal Finish 7 by Spring project, but I really like this so far. I haven't had any major issues with it. It's just kind of hard to blend. I haven't really pinpointed how I prefer to use it. I definitely think a stippling brush with this item is a must-have. Then I have my Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Exposed. This one is the full size, and you can see the comparison between these two. The mini one over here has 1.5 grams and the full size has 5.6. So there is a major difference between the two. Let me even show you the pan size. Now, Exposed is a blush that I was able to finish off, so you can see the difference between the pan size even. This one is a little bit deeper in the pan as well. This is a really nice blush for kind of an everyday look. It's more of a rosy nude tone than this light kind of everyday pink shade that this one was. But I really like this. In the future, I will probably end up picking this up again. But for right now, I'm just happy to have another blush moved out of my collection. I really did like it though. I believe the last face product is this highlighter here. This is the Physicians Formula. Oh, it has a 10 million mile long name. This is the Powder Palette Mineral Glow Pearls in the shade Translucent Pearl. This does have 8 grams of highlighter in here. This is my all-time favorite highlighter from the drugstore. And you can see I did have a ton of markings on the top there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the circle on the inside, that very inner line that I have drawn there, is the progress that I had at the intro video. This one is finished off. This was actually part of my Project 20 pan that's currently going on. I need to upload another update any day now, so keep an eye open for that. But this was a really beautiful highlighter. You can apply just a thin layer on the cheeks or the cheekbone area, and it's a very subtle glow, very natural looking, but you can also build it up and do, you know, 2-3 layers, and it looks really intense on the cheeks. It definitely gives off a nice impact and a nice glow to the cheeks. So I really do like this. Maybe eventually, after I move through 3 or 4 of my other highlighters, I would pick this up again. But there was the last face product. Then I'm moving on to some eye items. The first item I had to be extremely careful with because it is crumbly and going everywhere. I did actually include this in my empties for the end of 2016. I'll include that video down there in the description box in case you want to see all of the makeup products that I used up for the year. I included my makeup, nail polish, and perfume items from the entire year. This is the Chanel Illusion d'Ombre in Utopia in number 96. I do believe that this was a limited edition shade. It's a very pretty kind of pinky purple tone, and as you can see in here, it is unusable. This is not like your standard, there's a chunk kind of floating around because it has crumbled up quite a bit, but this isn't like your standard cream shadow. With the Maybelline Color Tattoos, you can mix them up with the toothpick and smush them back down, and they are creamy again. They're almost too creamy, and they're good as new. With this one, they have such a dry, kind of airy texture that if you mix them up, it almost makes them a little bit more dry. It's very odd, but I don't know. This one was in my finish for by the 4th of July. I didn't finish it off at the end of that project, and I tried to use it a little bit throughout the year after that. I just was not able to use it up before it dried out, and I'm just really bummed about this. These are super expensive. I do have one more of these in my collection, and I'm definitely adding it into my items that I want to use up for 2017 because these are just way too expensive to have them dry out with only half the product gone. So I did use up half of the product out of here, just a little bit over half, but unfortunately it wasn't finished up entirely. This is the fluid line in Little Black Bow. This is what the fluid lines from MAC look like. This was one from a limited edition collection. I really enjoy this one. It's just kind of difficult to find the right way to wear it. Sometimes I have a hair in my mouth. Occasionally I'll feel like I want to wear it as an eyeliner, but I really like that stark contrast of having a jet black or really dark liner against my lash line. I feel like it just looks a lot better on my eyes since I'm so fair and I have light eyes. But at the intro video, I did not have pan showing, and I have since hit pan. Yes, I just burrowed straight down into the product, but that's a lot of product to have used up. I do have a little bit of progress on the edge over there, and I'm gonna work on that edge and go straight down to the bottom of the glass so that I can clear out that one corner. I have a hard time figuring out how I prefer to use this. If I use it on like all over the lid as kind of a cream base or just a cream shadow, it's really pretty, but it's so dark, so I don't reach for it very often. But that is what a swatch of this product looks like, and if I wear it as a liner, it's just not dark enough. Those little sparkly shimmer pieces kind of make it look like I don't have a solid line, so it's kind of hard to find the right use for this. I don't reach for it as much as I should. I have two eyeshadow sticks here. One of them I finished, one of them I didn't. The one that I finished is the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in Amethyst. This is absolutely beautiful. When I rolled this up all the way, I was at that top kind of solid line there. And as you can see, when I hold this up, that's a decent amount of cream eyeshadow that I used up. I really like these. These are my all-time favorite, you know, stick form of a cream shadow. You can put these all over the lid and wear them as all alone as a cream shadow. You can actually put them down as a base and put powder shadows over the top. You can put these in your waterline. You can put them under the bottom lash line, kind of buff them out. You can put them into the crease and buff them out. So there's a ton of different uses for these. I really like this shade. It's kind of like a taupey pewter with a hint of purple to it. But that is a very light swatch of Amethyst from Laura Mercier. The other one, like I mentioned, is from Makeup Forever. This is one of their Aquamatics. This one is in I-30, and I was right up at that top mark there at the intro video. I only used this a handful of times. I would say maybe 3 or 4, I think 4 times. So you can see my progress is not very much, but you know, a little bit is a little bit. I'll try and use this one a little bit more in the summertime and the warmer months for this year, but there was that. Then the other eye product is an eyeliner. This was a really nice emerald green liner that was dark enough to be, you know, you could kind of mistake it for a black, but it was green enough that you could tell that you were actually wearing a hint of green on the eyes. I really liked it, and it didn't have big chunks of glitter in it. This is the Jordana 12 Hour Made to Last eyeliner pencil in Jade Jewel. Maybe you can see on the inside there, it's just a deep emerald green color, but I really like this. I like these pencils from the drugstore. They're $2.49 from Walgreens, and they set in probably 15 seconds. So these wear just fine in my waterline. The green didn't show up nearly as nice as the black ones do, but it was still a nice eyeliner. And you can actually wear these as a cream base. If you put a little against the lash line and smudge it out, you can put some powder shadows over the top. I did have 2 last eye products, and they were actually eyeshadow palettes. I have a whole series on Pan That Palette, but the 2 items that I tried to pan for 2016 was the Maybelline Chic Naturals 40Q Designer Chocolates Quad. This one was finished off before the end of 2016. I'll go ahead and link the playlist for my Pan That Palette down in the description box in case you wanted to go back and watch my updates and see my progress as I used up these eyeshadows. And then the other one was the discontinued palettes from Urban Decay. This is the Deluxe Shadow Box. and this is a very old palette for me. Now, technically I didn't finish this up entirely, but to me, I'm just fine with how much that I used up out of this palette because these shadows started to change their consistency. They weren't performing like they used to, and I did have a little bit of eye irritation. They almost felt really... It's weird because they were a powder product, but they almost felt squishy. Like if a little chunk broke off, like this little edge, if that broke off, I could smush it back into the pan and it would stick in there. So it was very weird consistency at the end of its life, but this is probably 4.5 years old, I would say. I purchased this from Ulta when they were still full price before they discontinued them, so that's telling you how long I've had this guy around for. It was a very brightly colored eyeshadow palette. I really did enjoy having all of the different color options to work with throughout the year as I was panning it, so there was that. I'm moving on to lip products now. So I have some lip treatments and lip balm sort of products. This first one is the C.O. Bigelow Rose Salve. I really love this product and I definitely miss it. I think I have a backup kicking around somewhere. This one took a very long time to use up, but I definitely loved it. It was a very light pink color. It just gave the slightest hint of a pink tone to my lips. And on some people it does look just clear, but I really enjoyed that. You can use it on other parts of your body. It says on the container here you can use it on your lips, cuticles, elbows, knees, and face, but I just mostly use this on my lips, and every once in a while I'd toss it onto my cuticles. Then I had the Perfectly Posh Candied Lip Dye in the shade Catty Coral. This is what it looks like here. It was a very light orange color in the container, like a peachy orange, but on the lips it looked like a peachy pink. It was really pretty, very subtle, went with everything, kind of a lip color. I think they've discontinued those, but nonetheless, I did enjoy that. I had a lip gloss from MAC. This is the Itchy and Scratchy and Sexy color. This came from the Simpsons collection, obviously, and you know, that is where I was at the intro video. I only used this one probably 3 times throughout the year. I was more focused on other products, so unfortunately this one did not get finished off. I then had the Urban Decay Lip Love Honey Infused Lip Therapy Gloss. And I know that these have been discontinued. They've been discontinued for a while, but I actually got this for Christmas for, was it 2014 for Christmas? So I had it for a year. So I really wanted to use this one up before the end of 2016, so I didn't get to the 2-year mark. And I used this up very quickly. It was one of the first items finished off in my Finish 7 by Spring project. So you can see right up here, that is where I was at the intro video. So if I put this upright, you can see that's a ton of progress, ton of product that I used up in that challenge, and I liked this. The only thing that I did not enjoy was the scent. It wasn't sticky at all. It looked really nice on the lips. It looked very wet. Definitely not a sticky or tacky gloss. So if you have this, definitely pull it out and use it up. I had this gloss from Makeup Forever. This is the Glossy Full Extreme Shine Lip Gloss, and honestly I probably only used this one twice. I'm still at the mark. I knocked it over, so it's not laying flat in the container, but I'm still at that mark right there. I'm going to try and use this up for 2017 again because these have been discontinued. I have had this around for a very long time and I need to use it ASAP. It still has the same texture and the same scent. Nothing's changed about this, so I need to use it up before I start noticing a change in the product. Getting away from the glosses, I have a YSL lipstick here. This is the Rouge Volupte lipstick in number 7. This is in Lingerie Pink. I did not mark the container at the intro video, but I had a very small amount of progress from the top of the cap. I'll see if I can find a clip from that intro video and include it up there, or maybe even just a photo, but you can see I did make a little bit of progress on this one. It doesn't have very much lipstick left in the container, as you can see there, so I don't see this one causing much of an issue being used up before the end of 2017, as much of a stretch as that is. So there was that first one. I then had an Urban Decay Revolution lipstick in the shade Obsessed. I'll include a little snippet of it right up here. I actually purchased that one at Ulta and I picked up the wrong color. I just never went back and swapped it back out for the right one. I think the one that I was after was Native. I think Native was a little bit more of a paler, toned down version of a pinky nude sort of shade. I did actually include that in the makeup swap box that I did with a couple other girls here on YouTube. I'll include that video down in the description box. Moving on to the next one, I had the Bite, oh, what were these called? Luminous Creme lipstick in the shade Vouvray. They have discontinued these and brought out the Amuse Bouche lipsticks, but I was right there at the intro video and I finished this one. You can see this is a very easy to wear, kind of light, go with anything sort of pink tone. And when I hold it up to the container, you can see my progress of how much lipstick I had used up. So happy with that one. Then I had the NARS, what is this one? The Satin Lip Pencil in Descanso. This one is hard for me to wear. I have worn it quite a bit, but I just don't wear it on a regular basis. This is like a peachy pink. On my lips, it definitely pulls more peach than pink. I'm kind of a sucker for a nude, like a nudie pink color, but peach is a little hard for me to pull off. I'm definitely going to try and use this a little bit more for the springtime for 2017, but I have sharpened it a handful of times. But that's what I'm working with right now. Not too much left in here, but definitely a couple months worth of lipstick left in this. I have a couple MAC lipsticks. The first one was the MAC Luster lipstick in Syrup. This guy right here. And this I kind of scooped out a little bit to show a swatch in my last empties video. But that is what Syrup looks like. It's kind of a deep swatch. That is what Syrup looks like. It just looks really dark on my lips. It's not my favorite kind of mauve-y tone lipstick. I have some others that I prefer over this, but I was very happy to use this one up, and I'm gonna hang on to this for my MAC lipstick lip swatch video, but I definitely like this. It's a fan favorite. A lot of people love this one. It's one of their best sellers, so there was that. Then I had the MAC lipstick in Girl About Town. Honestly, I probably used this one once on the lips and I swatched it probably 3 or 4 times, so not a ton of progress on this guy. I know a lot of people like this one too. I just don't like the pink tones that this one has. I wish it was matte. I feel like if it was a matte shade, then I would get a little bit more use out of it, but that is what it looks like there. I also had the lipstick in I Love Winter. This one was a limited edition one, and I did mark on this one because I can get a Q-tip with some alcohol on it and just smudge off these marks, but that very top mark right there is where I was at the beginning of the year. You can see that is how much lipstick I used up in this one. This is just more of a kind of rosy, darker nude sort of lipstick. That is I Love Winter right there. So this one was limited edition. This one is a cream sheen. I'm just happy to get this one moved out of the way because it's been around for a little bit now. This one is Viva Glam 5. This one is a luster, and this one has little micro shimmers running through it. That is a swatch of Viva Glam 5 right there. It's kind of similar to I Love Winter, but it does have like a golden sheen, a golden micro shimmer running through it, as you can see. So they do have a little bit of a difference in the swatch there, but this is what I have left in this one. I most certainly want to use this one up for 2017 because it is one that I don't reach for very often. This was actually a recommendation from Emily Noel 83, so she really likes her mauve tones, like rosy mauve tones, and those just aren't my favorite shade of lipstick, so I've stopped purchasing her lipstick shade recommendations. If she recommends a lipstick, I'll go you know, find a different color and buy that one. But I don't really purchase the actual shades of lipsticks, especially like the rosy mauves that she recommends anymore. The last lipstick is the Rimmel Lasting Finish Kate lipstick in shade 101. You can see there, and I will show you the marking. That was where I was at the intro video at the beginning of 2016. So you can see my progress there. Really happy to have this one moved out. I actually really enjoyed this lipstick. The color of it was beautiful, and I'm kind of missing it. So it was more of a matte, like a satin matte lipstick. That is the shade right there. This is the kind of lipstick shade that I'll opt for over other lipstick colors in my collection if I just want to grab something and go. So there was that one used up as well. Moving on to other products, I have some perfumes. I have 2 of them here. I did have 3 initially, but I dropped one of them. The one that I dropped was the Katy Perry Killer Queen Rollerball. That one was in a project and I dropped it onto the tile floor. It shattered everywhere and I couldn't use it. So the other 2 that I had were these guys right here. This first one is the Flower Beauty perfume in the fragrance Cherished, and obviously I purchased this one because of the name, because my name's Cherish, so I was right up at that green line at the intro of this project, and this one is completely finished off. This was an alright perfume. It's a little bit sweet, but it's more on the powdery side. I don't really like powdery perfumes, so happy to have this one moved out. I do have a backup because Juicy Fashion 11 did send me a backup, and I'm happy with that. I'm just fine with that because, you know, I like having products that have my name in that, in my name in the description or the name of the product, you know, something having to do with my name. I think that's kind of cool. Call me vain if you want, but I feel like that's kind of cool. So this did have 0.5 fluid ounces. The other perfume is the Versace Yellow Diamond, and that mark right up at the top there was where I was at the intro. This one was the 1 fluid ounce bottle, so a little bit bigger than the Flower Beauty one, but I like this one more for the winter time, the cooler months. It's a really nice cold weather perfume in my opinion. Then I had the Boscia Luminizing Peel Off Black face mask, and I should have used this one a little bit more. I just wasn't doing as many masks as I should have been with as many masks as I own. This is what the product looks like here. That silver line, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. It's right there above my nail. That was where I was at the intro video, and I'm currently down to, let me push this down so you can see. I'm down to right there. So, no, maybe a third of an inch, half an inch of progress on this mask. I'm going to start doing masking Mondays again. Maybe I'll even try and do them twice a week, once on a Monday and once on a Thursday or something, but this one wasn't one that was able to be finished. I do have a product here that I don't have with me, and I think I might have accidentally thrown it away. It was the Suave Professionals Visible Glow Tanning Lotion. I'll insert an image of it right up here. But I had that in one of my projects. I think it was my Project Pan Roulette. I think that's what it was. If I remember, I'll toss that one in the description box as well for you guys if you wanted to check it out. The next body product was the Aloe Body Butter. This one's a little dusty. This was actually not finished off by the end of 2016, but this was one of the first items that was finished in 2017. You can see in there that is completely used up. This was actually sent to me from the brand to do a review on them a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years now, and this was before they were at Birchbox and sent out in the Birchbox subscription service. Really happy to have this one used up. I like using this one on my tattoos. I'll probably end up repurchasing this one in the distant future because I just like the way that it looked on my tattoos. I like to have just the slightest bit of a sheen on my tattoos in the summertime. Then I had a couple hair products. This one was the Paul Mitchell Soft Style The Shine Spray On Polish. Oh man, I'm so bad with spray shine sprays. So this is where I was at the intro video, and that is where I got down to. You can even see on my markings here, this is where I was at in June of 2015, and I did not move from that spot until January of 2016 when I started this project. So this was around this mark here for 6 months. So if this item is not used up by the end of 2017, I think I've had it around for long enough. I'm going to toss it at the end of 2017 if it's not used up by then. I'm going to try to use it up though. I don't like throwing away products like that. And the final product that was included in this project, it's looking a little dirty. It's been kicking around underneath my sink, is the Paul Mitchell Flexible Style Super Sculpt Quick Drying Styling Glaze. I am so bad about using this because I don't see any difference between when I use this and when I don't, so it's hard for me to remember to use it because I don't see any benefits from it. But that little green line right there is where I was at the intro video at the beginning of 2016, and this is where I was at the end of 2016. So anyway, those are all of the products. Let me know if you guys did this challenge, how you did, if you're doing it for 2017, and yeah, I'll include any of the links that I mentioned in this video down in the description box in case you are curious about them. But I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for the 2017 makeup use up challenge. I think I might title it the items that I want to use up before the end of 2017. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.